Okay, so now that we know a bit about dosing and why starting at a lower dose and titrating up and potentially titrating down is so important, so you give your body time to adapt, and you don't keep it up because your body does adapt, and therefore it will stop progressing at a certain point. So then the titration down makes sense.
Yep.
To eventually potentially come back up
If
based
you
on your
need
goals.
100%. Exactly. Correct. You nailed it.
So let's go back and talk about some of those side effects that we mentioned earlier. You hit on a couple of them, but when you're hit with that really big bolus, as you put it, of medication, your body will shrink quickly. And basically what happens is it starts to eat itself, as far as I can understand. That's a very high level way of putting it, but nonetheless, that's kind of what's happening, which is why these things happen. Skin starts to sag, hair starts to fall out, these things, eyes start to do funny things, stomach starts to not feel good, like body's eating itself. Let's hit on some of the big ones that we hear about and why those things are happening. So what do you want to start with? Do you want to start with hair?
You know, in the news, it's gotten a bad rap that it can cause hair loss. There's no clinical research saying that directly GLP will do this.
That the medication specifically is causing hair loss.
What is happening is you are underfeeding your body. Hair is like skin, like muscle, like anything else. It needs nutrients, minerals, and vitamins to be vital. If you are taking a dose that is so high for you, that's why we don't like to start super high, so people can feed, right? As that follicle gets starved of vitamins and minerals and actual nutrients it needs, it can die off, and then you will start to see shedding. So if that is happening, your dose is probably too high, especially if you say, I can't eat anymore. You know, I highly recommend that you track at least your caloric intake. You know, bodybuilders, we get down to every gram of our, macros. But you should at least have an idea of where your calories are. You know, if you're coming in at 500, 600, 700, you're gonna probably see some hair shedding.
That's a low amount of calories.
100%.
Sure.
And I get it, you're not hungry, so you're like, hey, great, this is gonna speed up my loss, but it's also gonna speed up your muscle loss, which would be another side effect we'll talk about, and we'll talk about why that's catastrophic.
Especially depending on your age.
Yes, it's the under-eating that is causing that. So at that point, if you notice that, that's when you wanna be bringing your dose down so that you can start eating. And, we know that if you don't eat, you're going to go into starvation mode at some point. And starvation mode works for a while to lose weight rapidly. I'm not saying it doesn't. I mean, there's an old study from the 60s, I think, where they, actually starved people on purpose, and they lost an enormous amount of weight. These were very obese people too. At some point with life and stress, that will slow and you will stall. And so now you're left with thinned hair and a stalled body, and you probably lost a ton of muscle. So bring the dose down if you're there, and make sure that you can get your calories in. And we really want to lead at least with protein, and then go from there and try to get in enough nutrients.